Report. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Connor Spivak. Connor Spivak, everybody. Do you want my resume for the limo driver now, or would you rather wait a few years?
Yeah, can you throw it in my email by the end of the day?
Yeah, all right. That sounds about right. He's bad luck for cars. His blew up on the highway recently, and his girlfriend's car got a flat tire on the weekend. The lesson, don't let this man near your car. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
Yeah, and like she lost her tire like 42 kilometers away from where my car blew up, because that's how I was 42 kilometers outside of Whitecourt.
Man, so that's like the Bermuda Triangle for cars.
Evidently, yeah. But I guess if you can make it past there, everything's okay.
Should be a country song about that.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
All right. He waited all morning for an install at his place, but the guy didn't get there in time. He is handling this very well. He hasn't been violent once. He had a chance for a clean, unprotected head hit in the hallway, didn't take it. The individual ran right to his desk and worked again. So I think he's handling it very well. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
It's true. Next appointment, or next installation date, I should say, not until August 26th.
I'm going to give
That's
you
2 weeks.
I'm going to give you a piece of advice, and everybody listening right now. It doesn't matter what company's coming to, put whatever in your house. Take the day. And I know that's like I sound irrational. I sound like an old, wild, crazy old man talking. I get it. But
you're really right.
It's just such a pain in the ass. And like I've had fridges and stoves and dishwashers and cable and phone and God knows what else. And they're like your kids. They never show up on time, and there's a chance it'll be around supper when they do.
Well, and what I was thinking was like, I'm actually pretty fortunate that I can stretch the mornings that I don't have to be here until 11, right? So I have a nice window of like 8 to a lot of people don't have that.
No, and it's like everybody says, "Oh, come on, it's not that big." It is a big deal because like I've talked to a few people who come and do installs. They are burning daylight. They work really hard. This isn't about, I'm not bitching about them. I'm just saying that the schedules are like so tight, and there's so many people everybody, these guys have to see every week. It's tough, man. It really is. It's not an easy job, and it's not easy to connect with these folks. So are you without cable or whatever it is you were looking for?
Yes. You know what? Yeah, I am.
So I could for the next 2 weeks, I could say, how about that big Miami Heat trade, man? I guess it's okay for the future, but this year,
well, it's just a cable package. I'm not living under a rock, so I think I'll be okay. I have access to other TVs.
A man can dream, for crying out loud.
Did you catch on what was on ABC last night?
No, but you know what? I did miss The Amazing Race Canada last night, which is my favorite show to watch every summer with my mom.
What about Love Island? Are you going to have?
It's over. It's over. Trinity and Bryce won.
Oh, yep. Are they beautiful?
They're pretty hot. He's like a male model. She's, they're not putting ugly girls on there. Let's just call a spade a spade. So, yeah, good looking couple.
Yeah, all women are beautiful, just so you know. But here's the thing. When I saw somewhere, I can't remember where, there's a new reality show coming to Canada. I don't know what it's called.
Love is Blind Canada.
Yeah.
What is that?
So
what is that?
Are you super familiar with this one, Josh?
I know, I've never watched it, but the concept isn't that hard to.
I'm sure there's just a partition and you can't see the person.
Correct. You only get to know this person by talking. Now, what kind of hijinks ensues? I have no idea.
They get married at the end, right? Like that's the thing. Like it like ends with a proposal, never having seen the person, and you get married, and the first time you see them is like at the altar.
Is this kind of a moral question here, whether or not you would be A, willing, and B, ask somebody to do that?
I think the thought that's supposed to go behind it is, do you care more about marrying the person as who they are or what they look like? And that's like what the idea of the show is. Now, again, I don't know what hijinks ensues, but like if there's challenges or anything like that, they come involved. But
from what I've heard, I don't watch the show, but from what I've heard, it's always good looking people anyway. Mm-hmm. And my thing is like, there's a certain vanity you must have to go on a reality dating show in any capacity. So I don't know how much, the morals kind of rise to the top. That's okay. But I don't know.
And we live in a world where who the hell knows what, everybody's moral compass is in the ditch, covered in tequila and dirt. Is that about right? Al, if you were a true team player, you would let him have your password and sign in for your cable. And then that way, at least he can watch stuff on his phone for the next 2 weeks from Not Fred. Well, that's illegal, isn't it?
Definitely not illegal. Narc.
I think it's frowned upon.
I don't think you can. I can't take cable for everybody in the station and hand my codes out, can I?
Sure, you can.
I think the legal issue comes with like. Actually, I don't even know, but I'm sure sharing a password is fine.
Where do we live on the planet?
In the 21st century. Catch up.
All right, let's talk sports. Elks, I know you weren't down at practice today, but they're coming off a tough stretch here, man. They're 1-2, but they're innocent with an explanation, I think. How big is this game on the weekend?
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about this on Monday or Tuesday. Me and Eddie definitely talked about it on Elks Nation. This game has some can't lose vibes to it. Like, this is just like a funny thing I do in my own brain. I differentiate must wins and can't loses. I'm sure people are going to hear that and be like, they're the same thing. This is a stupid point, but I'm not saying it's a must win, but it's a can't lose, because all of a sudden you look at what's down the line. You got Winnipeg and then back-to-back Calgary games. If they both win this week, which I think they feasibly will with the opponents they're playing, that nice gap you will have created with you and Saskatchewan and everyone else will cease to exist. And they will be nipping on your heels with a chance to take it off of you. And on top of that, you will have then dropped 3 in a row. And yes, Saskatchewan, Montreal, tough teams to beat. You went 1-1 with Saskatchewan. Toronto, not in their tier. And there is something to be said about what happens to a team and the mentality in the locker room when you lose 3 in a row. So I think this is a sneaky, really, really big game for the Elks. I fully expect them to win. I think they're a much better team than Toronto and have a lot of ways to win. But I think it's a sneaky spot where they can't lose that one.
Okay. And I of the other teams in the West not named the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Edmonton Elks, what team are you most not worried about, but most feel strongly about in terms of finishing third?
Like a healthy BC just seems to be the choice. I was so high on them coming into the season because of what they did last season with Nathan Rourke and Matthew Betts winning the individual awards. And then also they just had a feeling of being due. Like, I know we've kind of felt that here in Edmonton for a little while with the Oilers, but obviously in the CFL 9-team league, it's different. But BC just felt due. It felt like, Winnipeg had descended a little bit. Saskatchewan had a great year, won the Grey Cup, but an older quarterback roster got depleted in free agency a little bit. BC was supposed to take that step. Because of the injuries and how they started early in the season, it hasn't worked out. I still think a healthy Nathan Rourke should put them into that third team spot in the West.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm disappointed though. Like, let's take those 3 teams from the West and let's take Montreal from the East. That's the top 4. Let's just say, how well do the rest of the Eastern Division teams? Where in your power rankings does anybody get into the top 6?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I don't know if I would have BC as the 4th team right now.
Okay.
In my power rankings. I just think with the rest of the season and a healthy Nathan Rourke, they should jump to that spot.
Okay.
But as it stands right now, I think there's a very clear tier of Edmonton, Saskatchewan, Montreal, and then I think there's a second tier. And within that second tier, I think it's Calgary, Toronto, Winnipeg, and BC. And then I think that final tier, Ottawa and Hamilton, kind of sit alone. So I guess to answer your question, it would be one East team that sits in that second tier. And I can hear Art, I probably would have Toronto just as it stands right now. I'd probably have it Calgary, Toronto, Winnipeg, BC.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that is because Toronto does play in the East and they're going to have probably the benefit of not having to be a great team and still have a home playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
But they would be the only other team that's really in contention. And again, they're a far cry from that first tier.
Yeah, it's fun. We're obviously going to see it all play out. But for me, when I'm looking at this team right now, I'm excited to see what they can do. And I'm really excited about the Labor Day back and forth. Any chance they sweep? It's so hard to sweep against Calgary.
Yeah, I would say they have a chance just because Calgary's defense is so bad. Go look. You guys should go look at the numbers if you haven't already on CFL. And you know what's crazy is they actually have playmakers on defense too, like Zy Alexander, Jalen Hutchins, Clarence Hicks. They just give up 1,000 points every single game. So a sweep is definitely within reach because Edmonton far, far, far better defense, and Edmonton can't score. Like they can put up points. They have legitimate game breakers. So
Yeah, the Stampeders one day in this iteration may lose 100-98. They're just it's that much fun offensively at both ends. The Edmonton Oilers have signed goaltender Emil Vinny to a 1-year, 2-way American League contract. They have so many goaltenders in the minors now. They have Matt Tompkins, who's an AHL veteran. They have 2 really good prospects, Samuel Johnson and Connor Unger. They also have Nathan Day. So you can only play 2 at the AHL level. I've named 4, and they've just signed Vinny. So I think we could see a trade. I think Tompkins might be the guy to go since they like their prospects in Johnson, Unger, and Day. And Vinny, I think, is coming over here to play in the ECHL. Now, he was a fairly high draft pick for the Edmonton Oilers, and the scouting reports are that he's a big guy, he's aggressive, he's got a great glove. His positioning is in progress, but he can move laterally very well. But he's a long way, obviously, if he's willing to sign a 2-way deal that involves Bakersfield and Fort Wayne. But I also think this might be a harbinger of a trade to come in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. They got 3 in the NHL. They have potentially now 5 in the AHL. And you can only really, you can carry as many goalies as you want in the AHL, but you're only really going to be able to work 3 in at the most, and that's a stretch. So we'll see how that goes. It is information and it is news. By the way, I don't know how many of you gentlemen know, but each year I do the Edmonton Oilers Complete Reasonable Expectations for each season. And not to brag, but often I'm fairly accurate. I got Connor McDavid's point total correct. I got the Edmonton Oilers overall goal total last year correct. So do you want to know what I'm predicting for the Edmonton Oilers this year in terms of goals for and against?
Please enlighten us.
All right. Last year they finished at 282 for and 265 against plus 17. This year I have them at 277 goals for, which is 5 less, plus there's 2 extra games. So I'm fading them a little offensively, but their defense comes in at 241. So they're plus 36 now, plus 17 a year ago, and a lot of that is going to come on the defensive side of the ice. Initial thoughts that I'd punish them too much offensively. I know a lot of people think that Babcock will increase the offense, and if he does, the Oilers should have a wonderful season. But if he doesn't, then I think this is a fairly reasonable line in the sand. Do you like it, hate it, indifferent?
I like the idea that they'll probably be grinding more on defense, and that'll take energy away from what they do on offense. So I sort of, I'm not in lockstep with you, but I align with your way of thinking.
I think it would be more impressive if they had an impact goalie, and I just don't see it. Right? Like if they had the Flames goaltending tandem, I probably would give them a better.
But what if Devin Levi is just him?
But you can't count on that.
Correct.
Right? Like if he does, that's a great story. We go it all year long. But we're looking at it in the summer of, the season. It hasn't even begun yet. If Devin Levi is it, my God, the Edmonton Oilers they're cooking with petrol. Anyway, it's a fun exercise. We can talk about it. Recommend you go read it at The Athletic, and I thank you if you do. Quickly before we take a break here, I want to talk a little bit about what Declan's got coming up on Declinations. But Kevlar says, does this mean Ilya Sorokin is coming here? I think the goalie trade was for Tristan Jarry, folks. I think that was the one.
Yeah, like we've seen it, guys. I know you don't like it, but we've seen it.
And I think Levi might be it's like remember the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future? That's sort of what we're looking at here. Anderson, I think, will play when he's healthy. Levi is the future, and the now is Jarry. I think Jarry will end up playing more than anybody, but partly because trust has to be built with Levi, and then Anderson traditionally ends up missing several weeks during the year. Young man, what have you got coming up on Declinations today?
Yeah, Declan CAA. Today, I'm going to be looking at the teams who can win the national championship. Really quick, in-depth breakdown into those teams. Next week, I'm going to be doing my preseason top 12 plus my group of 5 team. And then the week after that, I am going to be doing, after I go through each team's schedule, a full college football playoff prediction. So big 3 weeks coming up here on this segment.
At some point in time, you choose when, but I would really like to hear you talk about the impact of the change in the transfer portal.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we can work in it for sure. I feel like we've spoke about it a little bit, and I think people like I've made it known how I feel about the impact, how I don't love it for the sport, but there needed to be some type of natural next step evolution. we can get into it deeper, but
well, we're getting immersed in it a little bit now, so I think that it might be a chance to revisit it a little bit. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay. On the way at 1 o'clock today, we have Kevin McCurdy. We'll keep you updated. We will give you an update on the Oilers trade and rumors straight ahead. We have declinations and at 1:40 and Bruce McCurdy coming up at 1. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payment on qualified purchases. These offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
The second half is yours. Lock in your seat with our new 5-game season pass and get a $25 voucher. Half season, full energy. Get your season pass at goelks.com. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. wolfgmcbuick.com.
It's 12:22. This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. We've got a very busy show for you. Right now, it's Rumors, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives. We talked in the first segment about the Edmonton Oilers signing another goaltender. They are getting mighty crowded at the position in North America. Emil Vinny comes over from Finland and has an interesting resume, beginning with being the number 64 overall pick, second round for Edmonton in 2024. Now, they do not draft that high very often. That's a luxury, as the kids say, for the Edmonton Oilers. They've been trading picks and prospects for years now. That pick, number 64, in the last, I'd say 3 years, they've had Sam O'Reilly at 32. They've had Rudolph Bilskins at 58 this year. And then it's Emil Vinny. So, he's a second round pick, somewhat slow. I'm going to say developing, but I'm going to put an asterisk on the word developing as a goaltender. He just hasn't played much in the Liga. They have several different levels in Finland, and he just, for whatever reason, has been playing in the second league, and obviously Finland junior leagues. And so this might be, and I'm just guessing, this might be a development ploy because they want Vinny to play a lot. He's 20-year-old right now. In December he'll be 21. He's a bigger goalie, 6'2", 185. That's not massive, but it's certainly not undersized. And the suspicion that I think most of us have, first blush, is that he'll play a lot in the ECHL with the Fort Wayne Comets. Now, what that might do to the Oilers is force them to make a deal up top, not in the NHL, but in the AHL. Because they have Matt Tompkins, who's a veteran, signed by Stan Bowman. He has a solid resume of playing in the American Hockey League. Would be a recall in ordinary years. He would be the number 3 goaltender for Edmonton, but they have 3 in the NHL. But I think he's a candidate for trade just based on the large number of goalies they have in the system right now. They have 2 goalies they like a lot. Samuel Johnson, who came out of Sweden. He's had 2 really good years in a row. And Connor Unger, who was signed out of Canadian College, who is undersized, but he stops a lot of pucks, and he did last year at like 4 different ECHL teams. And then Nathaniel Day, who keeps getting mentioned third, but goalies don't develop in a straight line, and it is possible that we're looking at a player who could jump 2 or 3 slots and end up being a guy that the Oilers count on. Are any of these goaltenders close to, or projected as an NHL goaltender? I had Samuel Johnson at number 3 on the Oilers number 2 on the Oilers list of prospects in the summertime. I like him a lot. I think that what I learned from Bill James, the baseball writer, and then from Rob Vollman, the hockey writer, now works for the Los Angeles Kings, is that when you're looking at prospects, specifically goalies, but any position, if they can establish a certain level of quality for 3 straight years, and it doesn't have to be at the same level, in terms of competition, but in the case of Johnson, he was great in the Allsvenskan, a fine league in Sweden. He was voted goaltender of the year in that league, and then he came to the ECHL this year, and he had a very good year. And so that's a guy who's got 2 of the 3. But if he has another good year this year, I think in the AHL, maybe it'll be split AHL's ECHL. We're looking at a guy who I think projects as at least an NHL goaltender and maybe better than that. So I would consider him to be the top goaltending prospect in the system. And after that, it gets a little fuzzy because Vinny, high draft pick, and they clearly like him. They've signed him. So he's a guy that I think that they feel like is in the mix to move up and to be a part of this team as he develops. And then Connor Unger, who is, I think you sign players sometimes from unusual places, Canadian College, hockey goaltenders, that would be an example. And then, they force their way into your thinking. You might sign them not as a curio, but hey, listen, this guy's got some talent. Maybe the analytics department recommended him. We'll throw him a bone. We'll sign the guy. We'll see what he do. And we'll send him to the ECHL. He can't hurt us there. And then he does way more than that. He actually got an AHL call. So I look, the Oilers have 3 goalies at the top this year. None of the names I'm mentioning are going to be a big factor this coming year for the Edmonton Oilers organization in the NHL. But what I do like about what Stan Bowman's doing is he's over-flooding the position. And it's like when Declan used to go to the community dance, in the Quonset hut, and the fiddle was playing and everybody was having a good time, and maybe somebody was imbibing, and the guys would go out and have a cigarette and come back in, and there was coffee brewing and nothing else, maybe water, and everybody was having a good time. And Declan would ask several people to dance, and not everybody did, but after a while, somebody would say yes. It was just a matter it's a numbers game, basically. And I think that's what Stan Bowman is doing. He's taking advice from Declan, and now he's signing a lot of goaltenders, bringing them in, and letting the cream rise to the top. I think it's going to be Johnson, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's what these individuals do, and now Vinny is a part of that, although at the low end, at 20, I suspect he will be a Fort Wayne Komets goaltender this coming year. It's interesting, though, these are interesting times because they don't resemble the oldie times with other general managers. Bowman is he doesn't have high picks, so he's trying to get lightning in a bottle, and who knows, maybe it'll work. It's pretty cool to watch. Elsewhere in the NHL, not a lot. There's guys signing in Europe. They would be late signing in Europe now. Because a lot of the guys go over. We talked to Sean Bell about that yesterday. About a lot of the guys go over, really early, and certainly earlier than this. So if you're signing now, then you have a place to go, and you got to get over there because they're already in the swing of things. And I think the Russian league, it's not started yet, but it does start in August, the KHL, and so you start getting early results, and people go, "Can you believe this? Here's a highlight," and you're like, "Oh my God, that guy was a 4th-round pick by Edmonton, and he never played here, and now he's on fire." That kind of thing. Anything in the NFL or the NBA, gentlemen, that we can talk about that is, worth discussing that could impact not necessarily people's fantasy football teams, but could impact the year.
Did we talk about Kyler yesterday? Kyler Murray, QB1 in Minnesota.
So
go off, gentlemen.
Was it JJ McCarthy started 10 games?
10 games,
6 of them.
But he was
not good.
Who's taller?
JJ McCarthy.
Did you see the numbers? I don't know if you guys would have seen this. You guys know the scandal at Michigan, right? The sign stealing and Connor Stallion. Did you guys see JJ McCarthy's numbers with Connor Stallions versus without?
Oh,
because it was, I don't have them memorized, obviously, but it was like one of those graphics that you're shocked by at how different they were. I think in 5 games, he had like 1 passing touchdown without Connor Stallions there. He was like 16 to 2 interceptions with him there in 8 games. Like it was a shocking difference. So maybe we should have known.
Golly gee, a guy have a security blanket,
I still think they should not play young quarterbacks.
No, but some of them are bad though. And he would be one of them.
It's sort of
I think
it's a sort of a crummy situation because it's not like he got to get reps in his rookie year when he was on the bench, he tore his ACL. Right? A meeting with
we all watched
Kevin O'Connell every week.
We watched him throw the football though.
We did.
And I know it's because I'm old and I remember things that are outliers just like everybody else. But I remember when Terry Bradshaw came to the Steelers and he struggled early in his career. They called him $1 million arm and a 10-cent head.
But my thing with these young quarterbacks, at least with some of the ones who struggle early, go to a new team, at least they have qualities and traits and flashes and signs. I don't know if we can really say that for JJ McCarthy. He's got some decent natural size, but that would kind of be it. He's never really had a big arm. He's never really had great touch. He's never really been that mobile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like even these guys that we give up on early when we shouldn't, and they come back and prove us wrong later. Like there are things we can point to and say, yeah, but there's that. Like I'm not sure JJ McCarthy really has that.
Bradshaw's first year, 1970, he threw 6 touchdowns and 24 interceptions. I don't think he should have started.
Yeah,
It was a bad team, but
look at Peyton Manning's first year. He threw like 30 picks or something his first season.
Really bad.
but man, he
Went on
could
to be
drop he could drop dimes, man. He was amazing.
Oh, went on to be like the second best, third best quarterback ever.
How do you rank them? Is it still like I'm gonna push Montana and Bradshaw up, but I know the perfect man is number 1. But who's number 2 for you?
Yeah, like I'll just do mine really quickly before Josh goes here. I got Tom Brady number 1. Don't think there's gonna be much pushback on that. I got Joe Montana number 2.
Thank you.
Peyton Manning number 3. Kind of a weirdo, probably wanted a couple more Super Bowls, but when you just talk about throw at the football, I do have Aaron Rodgers number 4. And then number 5, I think gets into a bit of a debate. I tend to lean John Elway because he did end up getting it done and he got the Super Bowl, right?
And also they had dog teams until they won, and he still dragged those teams against Cleveland down the field to win. He was a great quarterback. I don't disagree with any of those names.
Yeah, no, Tom Brady's 1. I'd say 2, yeah, probably Joe Montana because winning quarterback. Then the Sheriff. Then I'm probably with you on Aaron Rodgers, but my 5 would probably be Dan Marino from a pure quarterback standpoint. I know he never got it done, but like he's still up there in all the passing, everything right now in a time where passing was not a thing that everybody did.
Dude, like throwing for 5,000 yards when he did is like almost the equivalent of throwing for like 8,000 now or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also, really quickly, shout out Steve Young because he does not get the credit he deserves either.
And you know, that's a great point because they kept winning after Montana went to Kansas City.
It's true.
They did, and it was because of Steve Young in a lot of
and Jerry
respects.
Rice.
Yeah.
Well, they had John Taylor, and they had a pretty good back, and they had Ronnie Lott. They're a good team.
Like he just won the 1 league MVP, right? Steve Young?
Yeah.
Like that's, you know,
that league that came in kind of screwed up his career a little bit. Like he had to wait to start. And look, Montana was great. Don't get me wrong. But that was the NFL sorts itself out if you let them draft you. And there's no way he would have gone to San Francisco if they had just, straight up gone after the NFL.
And he did win 2 league
Really?
MVPs.
Wow.
So my apologies on that.
And I would throw Bradshaw in there, just an old timey guy who's a wonderful player. But I think you nailed it. Like I can't argue against your top 5, Declan, because I think you gave reasons for it. The thing I don't like though is that Marino gets excluded from this conversation sometimes because he didn't win. But he didn't have a great defense, I don't think.
Well, I had Marino at 5.
Yeah.
This was Josh, by the way.
Yeah.
Great shout, Josh. Great shout.
But I think that you correctly included him, although, maybe he's 6, but he's got to be right up there.
He's definitely right up there. It just it goes back to my thing. Like everyone else in this conversation won except him. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's not in the conversation, but he is the outlier, and he is the outlier in regard to what matters most in the sport. Like that has to be considered as well. So I'll, just saying.
How many would he have had to win to be 2?
2, maybe
2 Super Bowls.
Like I don't think 1 Super Bowl would have pushed him to 2. I think he would have had to win at like.
It's
2.
probably like the Drew Brees argument, right? Another guy,
Another
notable name omitted from our top 5 list who was really good, especially coming off a shoulder injury that could have ended his career.
Yeah,
Drew Brees, special place in my heart.
All right, I'm going to go a little bit late. We don't have anything lined up at 12:40, do we?
No.
Okay.
Just a little fun and friendship.
This is the day that his cable guy didn't get there in time. He is a different man. You have mellowed since I met you. There'd be oatmeal all over Connor by now if you were back in the old days. I'm reading a lot about, I want to talk about this because I want to tell you my opinion, just my opinion. I'm in no way associated with this organization. Well, I mean, that's not true, but I don't work for them personally. But I know them, right? And so people are finding out that Oilers Nation is becoming Daily Face-Off Edmonton. And I'll just speak from my point of view. when you have an online site or product or anything like that, ideally you want to avoid confusion. And there are so many different elements of Bonus Nation, DFO, all of those things. Sometimes it can get confusing, at least for me, and you lose a little bit, you get lost in the shuffle a little bit. Now it's under one umbrella, and you have one resource, and you can go and find everything you want, and doesn't really change anything, but the look of it is there, and I think that it'll be a little bit easier to brand than it has been in the past. So that's my take on it. People are asking me, so I'm going to tell you that. I am certainly not an expert in how these things go, but I like the logo, I like the people, and so we wish them well. And their websites are easily interactive, which is some of them are not, and that's unfortunate. So anyway, I want to congratulate them, wish them best of luck, as I always do. They're very fine people. I've known them from before they were Bonus Nation, before they were in different areas of the business, they weren't in the media business per se. And what I like about that group is they're local Edmontonians and they're entrepreneurs, and I remember when I met them and they were talking about making a big impact and putting their footprint on the city and moving things forward that they cared about and loved. And they've done exactly that. So I congratulate them on a day where they are the news for reasons. And I think it'll work out very well for them because they're astute business folks. All right. That's about as serious as I've ever gotten, I think, on this show. Okay, we have Kevin McCurdy coming up at 1:00 today. We have Declinations. Declan is an interesting guy because he's one of those folks, if you met him, you'd be impressed at how well-rounded he is as an individual. You could talk to him about politics, religion, music, films, sports, certainly. Pretty much anything except, getting your hands dirty. And he would be able to stick with you and maybe know a little more than you. But at the heart of hearts, inside, if you pull back all of the, branches and you look at the core of Declan Krueger, there is a football, an NCAA logo, and a season about to begin. So that's coming up on Declinations today at 1:40. And don't miss it because the passion is real, and he's going to mention Notre Dame, and we all want that. Okay? So that's straight ahead. Your comments on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, winning isn't everything. Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. That's such a great song. Well done by you, Ray Charles. Good stuff.
When was the last time you watched the movie? It's probably been a while, eh?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah.
What a movie, though.
Yeah. I just love Ray Charles. What did I say? He did a country album and it sold trillions of dollars. Copies. Fabulous artist. Mark says on our text line, in an effort to differentiate the voices of the young men, went a little sideways there. Hold on. I suggest you obtain a voice modification device. This would help our listeners. You're welcome, Mark in Penticton.
Mark, I hope you're doing okay.
I've suggested that maybe one of you have an accent, but you guys didn't like that very much, I don't think.
I don't mind it. I don't mind rocking with an accent, but
you sound like you're on Spinal Tap.
do I sound like I'm from
What
Downton
size
Abbey?
would you take? Haberdashery?
I got to get into character. I can't just go into it
No,
cold.
I
I
know.
need like
you
3
gotta have
minutes to
something
warm
to
up.
say. Like you gotta be able to say
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, or like in it.
I used to do a lot of voice work, 2 hours a day. And sometimes the writer would want an accent. And I could never hold the accent. So they would in frustration boot me out of the control room, the voice room, and bring somebody else in because it's hard to do.
Accents are very hard to do.
That was bad.
I know.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
You should do your Chris Collinsworth because it's bad, but we recognize that it's you.
Do you understand that it's me from
Whoa! It sounds like he's having stomach pain.
You don't have to be
I'm
like
gonna-
that.
I'm gonna dry heave. It's although it in theory it's funny because it is like him, but the voice isn't. And I'm still mad at him.
calling
about
me
it.
the arsonist.
Oh, I don't want to get into that because I do not want to continue the feud. Why don't you go talk to Donovan about what he was mad about with regard to you and what he called you? Okay?
He called me the arsonist.
I'm not getting into it.
He's saying I
do
lit
not want to talk about this. It's not, you two Goomba trolls have had a feud going. He didn't like what you put on the Chiron, and he said something on this show, and I was trying to make you not hear it, and now you've heard it. But I does not go further on this show. And next Tuesday, if you guys
we don't need to hash this out. I
No.
imagine what was said, and it's okay.
Okay. And then somebody said it wasn't appropriate, and he stopped it immediately because of all the things that were happening. But this is why
Unbelievable.
Lowetide gets frustrated with people. Well, yeah, but with respect, you did start it.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that.
Oh.
It's whatever, Jordan said I can actually tell which one's Declan because his takes are good.
Oh, that was good.
Oh.
I like that one. That was a good one.
Listen, I should be thanking Jordan, but like Josh has some great takes. I got to defend Josh here. Josh has some takes where I'm really like, hey,
Oh yeah,
that yeah, you know what I mean?
yeah. No, absolutely. There's, but I do think that it's because you guys are young, and you have not similar deliveries, but similar tone. I guess I would say.
For the 19th day in a row, I have to push back. I just don't see it. Clearly, I'm never going to see it. I'll drop it, but I just don't see
you
it.
hear your voice from your head. The rest of us hear it from outside your head.
That's fair.
I hate my voice, but I've made a living with it for 40 years. So, I suggest these listeners get an ear cleaning. You boys and your voices are completely different. Fenwick's voice has changed, though. Must be the new lady from Bird. I picked up on that, too. You know what he is? He's happy.
It's like, you ever see 500 Days of Summer? After Joseph
Oh my
Gordon-Levitt,
God, I hope
after
this doesn't end that way.
after he cracks and he leaves the apartment and he's like singing and jumping around. That's been Josh ever since he started dating his lady.
Yeah, it's.
I hope this doesn't end the way that movie does. That would be absolutely gut-wrenching.
With her engaged to someone else telling you about it on a park bench overlooking the city.
After saying she would never get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've got it well in tow, and we won't tease you about that. But you do sound happy, and you don't get as
Are
angry.
you saying
as
I
used to.
wasn't happy before?
No, but it was easier to push you and have you react about, particular movie actors or whatever.
No, listen, I still think you're wrong about Brad Pitt.
I understand that, but you don't get crazy angry about it.
You only liking Brad Pitt in World War Z is,
yeah,
it honestly might be the worst take this show has ever
Look,
had.
I've just said that Brad Pitt is not the actor you think he is.
I think he's not the actor you think he is. I was actually thinking about I went through a Brad Pitt rabbit hole on Wikipedia yesterday. That dude is, I know, weird, right? But that dude, he's so good.
He's really good in Meet Joe Black.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good in a lot of things.
He was really good in the baseball movie.
Moneyball.
Yeah. Although he was not a good dad in that movie. Fight Club.
He was great in Fight Club.
Yeah.
He won an Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Thelma and Louise.
Legends of the Fall.
Right.
All right, Legends of the Fall just isn't good. I don't think he's good.
Like, is he better than Harrison Ford? No.
No.
Is he better?
I think he's a better actor than Harrison Ford.
Daniel Day-Lewis?
disagree.
No.
Well, you just named the best actor of all time. No one's better than Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, now he's a kind of mediocre actor.
Yeah, I wasn't sitting here saying like, oh man, Brad Pitt better than Anthony Hopkins or any of these things. Like, also
Inglourious Bastards.
Someone texted in, how about Troy? Troy sucks, and he's awful in Troy. Troy is really, really bad.
Everybody has a stinker once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone's allowed to have a stinker.
Yeah. I thought he was good in Thelma and Louise.
Hey, Thelma and Louise, good movie.
Yeah. Josh's Low Gravity sounds like Ned from South Park.
Ned Gerblansky. I don't even know who that is. I don't watch South Park.
You're too sophisticated.
It's not it. It just wasn't for me ever. My sister watches it.
Who's the more intellectual, you or your sister?
My sister,
Mhm.
like with a bullet.
You don't go for that intellectual stuff,
No, I think
surface kind of guy.
I think I'm very smart in my own right, and maybe I don't.
I do as well.
And maybe I don't like lead on to like being an incredibly smart individual. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm incredibly smart.
Did you like Shakespeare?
Yeah, Shakespeare was fine. I did pretty well in the reading comp part of the diploma.
Did you do any of his plays?
Not like on stage.
Okay.
But like we had to read him in high school all the time. You had like 3 separate units for him in a single grade. It was wild.
I think one of these guys needs to be modulated to full Alvin and the Chipmunks to distinguish them. I nominate Lowetide. I get LT and Connor mixed up.
That's crazy.
That has to be a joke. I was reading that text. That has to be a joke, right?
I don't know. I don't know what my voice sounds like outside of my head, so I'm not sure.
I will say
I have to sound older than Connor.
There are no 3 people who sound more not like each other on this station than you and Connor Halley or you and Connor Spivak.
Okay.
Do you like the dramatic pause?
I did. I felt like I wanted to help you with the sentence.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word different
Because
there.
when I'm in that mode, I like people to help me with that sentence, whatever I was hoping for. Tide, what are the analytics of your takes compared to Declan from Big Dur? Well, my gibberish per 60 is top in the league. So clarity per 60, I don't do as well. That is the strength of Declan. So that's in a nutshell. LT, you are way off. Lindsay from Lloydminster, thank you. Best role for Brad Pitt was the roommate in True Romance. LOL.
It's pretty unhinged in that one.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you guys this, because we're just down this rabbit hole. Like him as an actor, that's neither here nor there. But in terms of like collective filmography, I think we're talking top 5, top 10.
Oh, I don't know.
I like the shout for top 10. I think when you get to top 5, you have to get a little more nitty gritty,
That's
because
fair.
like number 1, you're looking at a guy like maybe like Samuel L. Jackson, just because he's in so much. He might not be he's not the lead and everything.
I was kind of like thinking in my mind as a lead or co-lead. Like Leo came to mind for me.
Leo for like a lead is good. I would say like, listen, I know she's pretty new on the scene. She's only like, I don't even think she's 40 yet. Emma Stone as a lead actress, guys, you got to take a look at that filmography. It is banging. Listen, you might not like Yorgos Lanthimos. It's a little out there, but there's a lot of good stuff in her filmography where she's the main gal.
I'm thinking right now.
He's thinking
because the question was so good.
No, but I mean, if we're going to talk about greatest, we have to, Daniel Day-Lewis.
This is kind of a loaded question.
Meryl
to not
Streep.
give you guys any prep.
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep is
up.
a
She's
great
high.
one.
She's
Yeah.
high.
Well, she has to be right up at the top.
You can think Marlon Brando,
Sidney Poitier. I mean, a
Robert
great
De Niro.
actor. De
Sidney
Niro.
Poitier is good.
Right.
Brando's a little top heavy with Godfather and Sunset
On the
Was
waterfront.
that a fat joke?
Apocalypse Now.
Okay, I take it back. I take it back. Yeah, I take it back. Yeah, forgot about those two completely. Take it back.
I mean, it's so personal too, right? Like we all have our I personally do not like Jack Nicholson, but I love his movies.
Yeah, he's got a great he had an unreal run. I don't think I would ever take Pacino. He's honestly just in too many stinkers. There's a lot of good ones, don't get me wrong.
No, but he was in some movies that you walked out going, geez, I think I'd like my money back.
Yeah, or like I would not see that again, whatever. And then there's good ones, Any Given Sunday, obviously all the Godfather movies, Scarface, Heat. But then he's in movies like Jack and Jill, and you're like, okay, the worst movie ever.
Robert De Niro had that weird run too, where he was doing like Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah.
with Zac Efron.
That was funny though.
Yeah, and I it hurts me that you guys haven't mentioned Sandra Bullock yet.
She just hasn't done a lot recently.
Yeah,
And I do think respectfully, she's in that
She's in the
next
low.
kind of tier. Yeah.
All About Steve was a classic.
Okay, and Demolition Man.
I don't want to talk about that.
Speed 2.
Speed was good. I like Speed.
The
That was
Proposal with Ryan Reynolds.
fun. Yeah. While You Were Sleeping is really good. Miss Congeniality.
What's the one with the
witches
mailbox?
one. Oh, The Lake House.
Oh, that one.
Not a good movie.
That sucks.
With Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Stupid, man.
That one
Go to
sucks.
the mailbox for 1926. But what's the one where she's in the witch one?
That's I don't know which one you're
super underrated comedies of the early 2010s is Heat with her and Melissa McCarthy.
It's super
That-
funny.
that is
So
a really
funny.
good movie. I saw that with Karen recently. Sandra Bullock.
Also, for those of you that forget, Melissa McCarthy, co-star of Heat, nominated for an Oscar in 2019.
Practical Magic is the name
There
of
we
the
go.
movie,
Okay, yeah. I knew exactly what you're talking about. I could not think of the word.
Melissa
My mom loves that
McCarthy's
movie.
outtakes in This Is 40 make me laugh, and I've watched it 100 times.
She was nominated for an Oscar for Bridesmaids Bridesmaids as well.
Yeah, best supporting
Yeah.
actress.
She was great.
How
in
about that?
And then she was nominated for a best actress in like a drama in like 2019 or 2018.
Can you ever forgive me?
Yeah.
And she was in Gilmore Girls.
She was at Suki in Gilmore Girls,
She
right?
was
That's her
so
name?
funny. Yeah, she was clumsy as hell, but a great cook.
No, she was really great. I loved her character. Also, we'd be remiss to bring it up. We totally forgot, missed the ball on this one entirely. Trey texted in and said, no mention of Denzel is crazy.
Oh, yeah,
Denzel
no.
Washington
We're idiots.
is so
and
good.
We're going to punish ourselves off camera during the break and get back to you a little bit later, looking a little disheveled. Coming up, it's Kevin McCurdy. We have declinations at 1:40. Kevin will be at 1. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Elks Nation. For the best green and gold coverage online with articles, podcasts, and more, tons of in-depth green and gold coverage, visit elksnation.ca. The Los Angeles Lakers are being sold to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger for $12.5 billion, a record-breaking price, according to multiple sources earlier today. MLB scores see the Twins lead the Orioles 5-4, and the Cardinals lead the Phillies 1-0. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll see the Rays and the A's. And then in about 40 minutes' time, we'll see the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Toronto Blue Jays also in action tonight, playing host to the Boston Red Sox. Will be Soriano on the mound in that one, and the Royals and Dodgers will be the late game at 8:10. WNBA action tonight gets going with the Toronto Tempo and the Dallas Wings at 6 o'clock. Chicago Sky and the Valkyries playing at 8, and then the Minnesota Lynx and Chicago Fire at the same time. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CHJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the Pro Press fitting to my copper pipe.
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Krueger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station. Can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Kickoff is coming August 15th. Elks, Argos at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Family Day presented by Goodwill Industries of Alberta. Youth 17 and under get in free for an early afternoon contest. Conditions apply. Tickets and info at goelks.com/tickets.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked and making room with a massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. A very busy hour. We're just ahead of Kevin McCurdy, who is our headliner of the day. We also have declinations coming up at 1:40. We're going to talk Toronto Blue Jays at 1:20 a little bit about there's some people out there who push me back a little bit when I say they're done. They have no chance. They're like, there's a chance. So we'll talk about the chances for the Blue Jays at 1:20. It is time for Kevin McCurdy, our headliner of the day, brought to you by Faber. Debt holding you back? Let Faber's licensed insolvency trustees help you tackle your debt. Book your free consultation at faber.ca or call 1-877-944-1177. Kevin McCurdy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Alan. How are you doing this week?
Good. I knew at some point the silence from the Edmonton Oilers would break. I was not prepared for them to sign, or at least the organization to sign, another goalie. But Emil Vinny, who was a second-round draft pick a couple of years ago, has been signed to an AHL two-way deal. So I think he's going to be in the ECHL in Fort Wayne this year. But it really does set up what is now an 8-man goalie room for the organization across 3 organizations. Seems like a lot, Kevin.
Is there such a thing as too many goalies? If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, riddle them with BS, isn't that the?
That's sort of my radio career right there. But yeah.
Well, I think that's probably a prudent signing by the team, but you're right. It's getting a little crowded, and if they needed to make space for more, you have to imagine goalies start going the other direction at some point.
Yeah, I think, the thing I wonder about, I know the 3 goalies in the NHL are going to be here, and I suspect that, Vinny and Day probably end up in the ECHL, but now you've got Tompkins, the veteran, and then Unger and also Samuel Johnson, and, those guys are going to want to play. And I know you can carry more than 3 goalies in the AHL, and nobody, it doesn't matter. But this is always about development in the AHL. I wonder if there's a deal afoot where they could maybe move Tompkins to a team that needs a veteran AHL goalie, or does that leave them too much on the side of inexperience?
I don't know. I had heard a rumor that Johnson was headed to Sweden, but I don't have a definite source on that at the moment. So we'll have to see if that's.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I mean that would free up some space, but I don't know if that's actual fact or not. So I probably shouldn't speculate too heavily yet. I think the team is set for goalies at the moment without moving anybody out, and they have no more room to crowd even all the way down to the ECHL anymore without somebody getting hurt or somebody being moved. So it's exciting to see the team actually have some goalie prospects for what feels like the first time in forever. Like the vet down in Bakersfield last year, Tompkins, he did a really good job from what I heard. I didn't watch a lot of the Bakersfield Condors last year. So they're, if somebody gets hurt in the NHL and they somehow, actually 2, I guess, then they have somebody reliable they can call on, and they have a vet that can sit with the other guy to sort of grow his career, I guess.
Right.
Sort of struggling with names today, Lowetide. I'm struggling with names today.
Because we know them, but Matt Tompkins is not known well. He's only been around for a year. Connor Unger and Samuel Johnson are prospects, but they're not first-round picks. And Nathan Day, sometimes Nathaniel Day, and now we've got the new guy, Emil Vinny. So it's not like I'm going to give you the names of the 4 Beatles here. They're not as famous as maybe we're used to talking about.
No, it was just a brain fart moment, I guess. Ungar was excellent last year. He did have a little bit of a regression, so I hope we'll see him really hop on it this year. If that's the case, I think he has a strong chance of actually making the league at some point. But he has to continue that positive development and not fall away, because he was unstoppable for a good chunk of last season across multiple teams.
He certainly was. Kevin McCurdy, our guest on Sports 1440 and YouTube, talking about the Edmonton Oilers. On the blog today, I talked about Quinn Hudson and his chances of making the team. And it's the I don't think anybody questions his ability. He can score goals. He's a two-way player. He's not a big player, but it feels like it's going to be very difficult for any young player who's not yet established, aside from Ike Howard, to make this team. Do you have a favorite, and do you think that there is a player, aside from Howard, that played a lot in Bakersfield a year ago that we should keep an eye on?
I don't think they have space. I really don't. Like they're in a position where, you have Matthias Janmark arguably coming back from shoulder surgery. You have a fistful of bottom six forwards. I don't know if there's going to be space for someone to push through that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody has an amazing camp and comes out the other side of it, and the team tries to give it a run. But they're going to have to risk somebody on waivers, and that is also true in the defensive core, right? Like they've got like 8 defensemen, and basically nobody is waivers exempt. So they're going to have to figure out who to take a risk on there. I don't see an opportunity really for upward movement much from Bakersfield besides maybe Ike Howard himself right now.
Yeah, and if they had a right-handed center, we'd be talking about that, right? Like, because there's not a lot of we can identify the penalty killers. There's a lot about this team that just looks like a veteran group that a veteran coach would like to come in and coach, because everybody will know their role, right? And there'll be some tweaks here or there, and they've got to figure out, whether they want the sticks along the wall or they want to, put Savoy at left wing. They'll have to figure all of that out. But that's the minutia of training camp. But I've looked long and hard at this, and like, I like Damien Carfagna, but there's no way he's going to make this team. And as a matter of fact, Spencer Stastny and Alec Regula may not make it. And we could see some trades or some waiver losses here as the season begins. And if they have enough of them, that would maybe poke a hole in some of the positions like defense.
Yeah, but I mean, they said pretty strongly that Josh Brown's going to get an opportunity. I don't know how strong an opportunity that is, because when you see his gloves for sale on a pro stock website, that leaves you to believe that maybe not all is well in the world. But I don't want to risk anybody else on the roster for somebody like Josh Brown. I think that's a mistake. And I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but like, you have at least 7, arguably 8 solid defensemen that I would rank above his ability. And yeah, maybe they want the bruiser, kind of Vinny Desharnais style, but I just don't think he's even that skilled, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think Vinny's a better defenseman. And, everything that I've seen out of Brown has just been either he's a fighter or he's not that talented at defense. So, and that's relative, right? You're talking about guys in the NHL or the AHL. All these guys are light years ahead of 99.9% of the world's population and hockey players. But in terms of NHL caliber, I just think that we have enough people that are capable already. I don't know if they're going to have to be really selective in who they risk on waivers.
Well, I think that, we can read the tea leaves a little bit. Babcock's interviewed. He knows Josh Brown. So he says, yeah, that's a guy we'd like to have a look at. But he doesn't know, what else is there. He doesn't know I suspect he doesn't know the inner workings of the waiver situation for some of these players. And I do think it's fair, Kevin, to say he's not familiar with the roster. And that brings up a very shortened training camp, a very small schedule for preseason, which everybody's enthralled with and excited about. But for someone like Babcock, who's got to get to know this team really well, it could be difficult to to see somebody he doesn't know and value what they can bring, unless that player brings, right away, and it is very obvious. So I think it's possible he makes a mistake or two based on what the situation is. And I think that's, fans might have to, not necessarily watch somebody lost on waivers, but the depth chart might not look the way they want it to.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if you were worried that there might be the possibility of mistakes there, because that's the thing that really kind of the Oilers don't have a lot of asset space to be making mistakes with assets. So I really hope that some combination of Babcock and DJ Smith and Stan Bowman and the analytics crew can see through the haze and actually make the right decisions. And jury's out until that process actually completes. But I definitely, that's a concern for me, that we may be lopping off the wrong pieces, maybe potentially.
Well, I think that's fair, and I think that what I think would be unfair is to expect Mike Babcock to just roll back what Chris Knobloch was doing. So one of the questions I have, as a for instance, is, and this is because of Godot on my site, I wonder if they move Savoy over to right wing, and the depth chart on right wing is Hyman, Savoy, say Kapanen, and I'm not sure who would be on the fourth line as a right side guy, but they don't have a lot of right shots, but have righties on the right side. But the problem is you overload on the left side, and you've got 6 left wingers and 3.5 right wingers if you go sticks to the boards, and that's a situation with the roster. Everybody who's going to play center this year is left-handed, so I think that's a tweak we might see. If he wants to do that, we might see a roster shakeup just a little bit because of that.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I really hope they give Savoy an extended look with McDavid. I think he thinks the game at close to McDavid's speed. Obviously, I don't think there's any doubt that McDavid's probably the fastest thinker in the league, in terms of knowing where everybody is and making plays. But Savoy is able to keep up at that pace, and that is actually a much more underrated skill set than it seems. So I hope he gets that look there. I wouldn't be sad to see Hyman drop down to the third line if need be, but there's all kinds of room for discussion there. And again, we're in the boonies of the off season where topics are thin and few and far between, I guess.
How many of because when I look at this, it's pretty easy to say, okay, let's say Howard makes the team, he'd be in the top 6, but you'd be looking at Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who'd be on the third line, and say Kapanen, and guys who could jump in and replace Howard and Savoy as examples. How many of the bottom 6 guys, say Dickinson, Frederick, Joseph, Janmark, Doc, Szymanski, whoever else you want to name, how many of those guys do you see, scoring as many as 10 goals?
Well, I think Matthew Joseph is probably the most unknown of them. He's got some real upside to him, and if the analytics are any clue, there's a diamond in the rough there, which is probably exactly what they were looking for. I don't know if Janmark, it entirely depends on A, if he makes the team out of camp, and B, what his shoulder looks like post-surgery, right?
Yeah.
I think people unfairly knocked him, like he's rather famous for being 85th percentile in zone entries and 0th percentile in scoring. And you have to wonder if that multi-season shoulder injury had anything to do with that. So I wonder if with, some surgical alteration and repair, if he looks a little bit better than people remember him. I think Szymanski has the opportunity. He's such a smart player defensively, man. Like he's so smart on the D side of the ice. Like, I think he knows where to be, and he has the presence of mind to be in the right places, and I think that can apply offensively as well. So, in terms of who can score 10 goals, I think Frederick has that opportunity too, assuming that he doesn't have a crap season. And if he does, I think that'll probably be pretty close to it for his time in Edmonton.
I think that I when Babcock was hired, I went and looked at his Toronto Maple Leafs first team, and he used Zach Hyman and Connor Brown really out of the box right away, and used them in different roles, support roles initially, and then maybe more feature roles as time went on. But he was sort of like Mac T used to be, where it didn't matter if you weren't a first round pick, if you could play, you could play. And I think Szymanski would be, like, based on what we saw, I know he doesn't score a lot, but he's such a responsible player. It's like having a kid who plays like a veteran, because he's always on the right side of the puck, and he
cheats for defense.
Yeah,
he cheats for defense.
And when you're trying to, if you're a coach and you're trying to be suppressed compared to you a year ago, I just think he's a guy that you would play. I'm not saying you'd play him like in a feature role, but I think he'd be a really good support player, maybe even at center.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he's got the smarts for it. And you have to remember, this is a kid that's got 24 games played in the NHL and 45 games played in the AHL and everything else in Germany. Like, this is not a super experienced player, and he already looks like he belongs. Right? Like, that should tell you a lot about where that player is development wise. And I think it'll tell Babcock a lot about where that player is at development wise.
Yeah, I think the word was Dallas Aikens was responsible for getting him here, or at least contributed to it, and that might end up being one of the biggest contributions Aikens ever made to the Oilers, right? Because
absolutely.
if he's as good as he looks, and we just got the tip of the iceberg here, but he's a guy to be pretty excited about. Kevin McCurdy, thank you. We appreciate your time. You have a great week. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Have a good week, everyone.
There you go. Kevin McCurdy. We appreciate him dropping in. We talked a little bit about the Vinny signing and how maybe the team will look, and, there's no room, right? Very little room anyway. If you're, a right-handed center free agent and you can work for less than $1 million, maybe you've got a shot at this Oilers team. But, Curtis Lazar aside, they seem like they're pretty set. And, if you go up and down the depth chart, you can pretty much fill in the roster now with some changes based on what Mike Babcock might prefer. Okay, we're going to talk about the Toronto Blue Jays next. They won yesterday. They're not that far out. Why does Lowetide think they're cooked? We'll talk about it. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
It's cone season at
Urseg to Muncy. That's going to end the night. Max Muncy wins it for the Dodgers in the 10th. Urseg to Muncy. That's going to end the night. Max Muncy wins it. Is line to short, walked, and sends one to right field and deep. Laura back, looking up, and it's gone. Home run for Nando. Oh, Nando. Padres take a 6-1 lead. Well, that's called doing it right. Drilled to left center field by Suarez and gone. His 17th. He's picked up the power of late. 8 of his homers in his last 22 games. That's the first hit for the Reds and their first run. It's 4-1. Suarez guessing for that high fastball. And
Here's the lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$123. This is the lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com and check out the prices. Massive summer clearance on right now. Toronto Blue Jays won last night. They're 2.5 out of the wild card, but they have Detroit, Minnesota, Cleveland, Baltimore ahead of them. And, you know, there's no more mathy sport than baseball. And math says, you know, 2.5, man, you could make that up in a week, but not on everybody. Like, let's say the Rangers lose 7 in a row and you win 4. Well, you go 4-3, they go 0-7. You've made up the gap in a little bit, right? The problem is Detroit, Minnesota, Cleveland, and Baltimore are also in the mix. And one of those teams, chances are, going to have a better record than you and move ahead of you. So it's a problem. And it's a problem we can see just by looking at one player, my favorite player, and the player who has to be the best Blue Jay, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy has 7 home runs this year. Last year he had 26. His batting average is down 30 points from 294 to 261. His on-base percentage is down 40 points, 375 to 338. And slugging, which, you know, Vladdy's he doesn't hit 35 home runs, but he drives a lot of runs in when he's doing it right. It's gone down over 100 points, 483 to 356. It's an empty calorie season for Vladimir. And one of the things that drives me crazy, because I care about Vladdy, I want him to do well. I've been reading like people's theories on it. Oh, he's changed his stance. He's done that. He's hurt. And it's all, we'll find out at the end of the year. And chances are there is some injury, you know, issue there. But, you know, I see people, well, he's not even trying. Well, of course he's trying. It's not working for him. And it's not working for him in a way that, I mean, the last time he hit that number of home runs was he had 9 in 2020, the short year, in 221 at bats. He had 15 as a rookie in 2019 in 123 games. So the Vladdy is part of the story. I think also they, you know, Savage has struggled a little bit. Some of the veterans haven't come through. The information is there if you want to look at it. The bullpen's been a disaster. But I think they're done, because if they were 2.5 out and everything was rolling like it's been doing for the Bo Sox for a while, you could make the case. And they did win last night. So let me put it this way. If from today they win, if they go 5-1 in the next 6 games, then we can talk. But it's late. It's late in the year. And miracles do happen, but they call them miracles for a reason. They're 121 games into the year. They've got 40 games left.
Yeah, the Bo Sox, they're on a 4-game losing streak, and then they got Suarez up tonight up against Soriano. So win for the Jays, because Soriano's going to pitch
brilliantly
7 1/3 flawless innings.
How do you feel? Do you feel they got a shot?
Honestly, like looking at it, I mean, obviously the answer should be no. They've given me no reason to believe in them. However, I do. There's some, baseball is just such a unique sport.
It is.
And that like things can just change on a dime immediately. I mean, the Red Sox were on fire. They were like the hottest team in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've lost 4 in a row. And then the Tigers have won 3 and they traded away Tariq Skubal, like all these things. And so, I mean, only 2.5 games back. Yeah, 2.5 games back. For a second, I got mixed up with the Mariners. You can make that up in a week.
So I'm worried about the number of teams that are in front that are still also trying for the wild card.
Not ideal. Yeah, because the Rangers are sitting in that spot right now. And then they got 4 teams in front of them.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think they are going up against the Orioles sometime soon here, though.
Well,
right?
what would really help them is if they could win, go 5-1 and do it in a fashion where they hurt someone of their team. That would work. But man, to me, it's a dubious thing. It just is.
It's really tough because they go New York. They're with Boston right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they go New York, Tampa, New York.
And the Yankee bats are dead. I will say that. They are not doing well.
Hashtag Buck was right. Last year he said if they're not hitting home runs, they're not playing well. And that's basically the truth.
Yeah. And they're I don't know why they count on Giancarlo Stanton, they haven't developed Dominguez at all. And look, Dominguez is a challenge. Maybe he's not anything, but stick him in the lineup and let him have 350 at bats as an everyday player. I like their shortstop. I really like Ben Rice. The problem is Judge is out and Bellinger is too right now. So they're a bit of a mess. Toronto's getting them at a good time. Did you not sleep last night?
Oh, I slept for a long time last night.
Maybe you were catching up a little.
I was.
No.
Yeah, I think they can make it up because, the Yankees are not good right now, although they are perched in a very nice spot in the standings.
They can afford to lose 3 in a row.
They can afford
Their
to
pitching
lose.
is coming around.
Yep. I mean, they're going to go up against Schlittler on Saturday. No starter name for that game for the Jays, but they'll be going up against Schlittler. But other than that, I don't know, they can sort of get it done against anybody. They just got to get a little. I don't know what it is. It's
Vladdy has to hit the ball hard, either into the gap or out of the yard.
Yes. Well, they really need to do a better job of hitting into the gap. The fact that they are struggling with that so much is unbelievable.
They've got a lot of guys who aren't home run hitters. That's fine if your home run hitters are home run hitting.
Yeah. I actually just read a thing from The Athletic today about mental coaches, whatever. And it was what they tell athletes, one of the 3 things that are mentioned in this article, part of their newsletter, is focus on behaviors and actions, not feelings. So we can't really sit here and say, well, it's a confidence thing, whatever. It's just you just got to focus on your at-bats. You got to focus on every pitch.
Where did you get this from?
The Athletic.
Say it again.
All right. The third thing for the name of this was 3 small habits mental performance coaches think could have the biggest impact.
Right.
And so number 3 was focus on behaviors and actions, not feelings.
How do you feel about that?
I don't feel bad about that thought because one of the things that's brought up is have you ever felt confident before competition and done poorly? Most athletes laugh and say yes. And then have you ever felt really nervous or hesitant before a performance and done really well? Again, most say yes. So what do feelings or confidence have to do with it? This is from some mental coach. This isn't just the writer.
One thing I always envision that I'm going to do something well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I learned that from Wade Boggs.
Fair enough. I mean, he could do anything well. He could drink 45 beers on a flight. What was it? 90 beers on a flight.
He did things on the flight we can't talk about.
Went and pitched a no-hitter or whatever after.
Yeah.
Unbelievable amount of stuff. Obviously, yes, I do think confidence plays into it as a factor, but also it's like when you're playing golf and you hit a bad shot. You can't think about how bad your last shot was. You just have to literally go, all right, well, I got to hit the next one.
I think that if I asked you the strangest single performance, I think it would be the acid no-hitter from Doc Ellis.
Yeah, it has to be it. That is unbelievable. You're tripping on acid and you threw a no-hitter. You know how hard it is to just throw a no-hitter in general? Now imagine doing it while you're dealing with the effects of acid. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
It's every once in a while I just read about it. I just go, it was LSD. And he thought it was an off day. So he took some psychedelic drugs like you would in 1970.
Naturally.
And it's like the old, do you ever hear the Ted Green line?
No.
I'm not sure who the player was, but Len Sather and Ted Green are coaching. I think they're both behind the bench. And one of the Oilers, not, one of the superstars, says, he goes out and he gets hit really hard.
Yep.
And he hits his head and he's out. He's not there. Right. So he comes back to the bench and Ted Green walks down at the end of the bench and he goes, "How is he?" He goes, "He doesn't even know who he is." And Ted Green says, "Tell him he's Gretzky."
Zinger.
Hockey player humor. Just rub some dirt on it, man. It'll be fine. Anyway, bottom line.
Jelena.
Was it Jelena? I think the Jays have a sliver of a chance, but with 40 games to go, in the next 10, they can't have 5 teams in front of them. There's going to be attrition, and they can't be one of them. That's how I feel about it. It was Jelena, says Rick. Hyman drops to third line, might be a bit off. Well, Ranger Nick, what he's talking about is this is what my dream is, that the young players force the issue. Like, imagine a world where Matt Savoy and Ike Howard are now playing in the top 6, right? And it's McDavid, Savoy, and Nugent Hopkins are on the top line. And then the second line is Leon with Podkolzin and Ike Howard. And the third line is Hyman with pick a center and Kapanen. Like, if you could afford to have Hyman on the third line, imagine how deep your team would be. That's the goal. 3 scoring lines and a fourth line. Babcock's going to play his fourth line. But if he had a line of Szymanski, Doc, and Frederick like this team did a year ago, late in the year, and they're just busting everybody's hump as they, drill into the zone and give the people fits and hit them and take the puck away, which they were doing. Frederick and Doc were playing well together. Mike Babcock has to see that tape. Somebody's going to show it to him. And he's going to go, well, there's 2 guys I can use together, and we'll see about the center, right? But Al, do you not think that Oil needs some size? Well, who are they protecting? Like, does Leon Draisaitl, is he kind of a shy fella and, people pick on him? No. Leon's filthy. Have you seen the stick work that Leon Draisaitl has done? Connor McDavid, there's a shy violet. No, he cross-checks people everywhere. So when we're talking about being tough, I'm thinking this whole team is tough. I mean, Connor McDavid is a super duper star. He is. But he's been hacked and whacked since he got into the league. He takes more abuse, in that other word, than any superstar in any league. And he's learned to work around it, even though he's not 100% when the playoffs start. So when we talk about don't they need to be tougher, or bigger, I think we mean don't they need to be tougher. And I would suggest to you that this is a tough team. Now, some of the young players are smaller. Not all of them are going to be able to play. If we're talking about Savoy and Howard in the top 6, then maybe Quinn Hudson isn't going to be able to play this year. That kind of thing. But I look at this team. Doc and Frederick they can be brutes. They absolutely can. Podkolzin isn't a massive guy, but he can hit hard. Kapanen can go get it. And the centers are, Dickinson's not a wallflower either. They're, Like the next time you watch the Oilers play, just watch McDavid and Draisaitl and how much they use the cross check, the stick, how they delay things, how they take the opportunity when nobody's looking to hammer some guy who's been bugging them all game. Like these are veteran guys. The days of protecting McDavid and Draisaitl are long gone. Now you kind of have to protect the olds and the young kids, and neither of which are McDavid and Draisaitl. They can handle themselves. And on defense, you would miss Nurse, but you've got Connor Murphy, and Matthias Ekholm isn't going to back down from anybody either. You need a skilled puck mover on each pairing. That's my belief, and I think the Oilers have that. Would have been nice. I was hoping they would sign Desharnais. He ended up going for gobs of cash, driving our friend Declan crazy. But there it was. All right, I've gone late. On the way, Declinations. We're going to talk NCAA football. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 on YouTube. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairies Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged, and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to RobertsonBodyWorks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wore jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, Denim Man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
In Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Overstocked, making room for massive summer clearance, plus employee pricing continuing at WolfGMCBuick.com. We've apparently got showers again tonight. Just amazing stuff. Haven't had rain for 11 minutes. It is time for Declinations, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today. GoElks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year. And so, Mr. NCAA football, what's shaking?
Yes, I'm going to be going over the teams that I think can win the national championship this year. Next week, I'm going to be giving my preseason top 12 plus my group of 5 team. And then the week after that, after I go through the schedules, we'll be going through a entire college football playoff prediction. So big 3 weeks planned here on this segment, far and away the most effort I put into anything I do around here. Not even a close second. But without further ado, and this is in no particular order, these are the teams I think can win the national title this year. I do have Notre Dame as one of them. You might have recalled from last week or 2 weeks ago when I broke down the schedules, for each of our favorite teams. Incredibly favorable schedule, but beyond that, they have a phenomenal quarterback in CJ Carr. Marcus Freeman is a tremendous defensive coach. They probably have the best corner in college football in Leonard Moore. They're just the only real question with them is how are they going to replace the running game? I think their schedule is going to allow them to do that. And then just quite bluntly, they might become a passing offense this year with what CJ Carr can do. So they're absolutely going to be in contention. It's a great roster. I have them as one of the teams that can win the national title.
Beautiful.
I have Oregon as well. Oregon, and I think I did give a little bit of a spoiler that I would that I early on had them in the national title game. And obviously that can change as I go through the schedules and see what the lay of the land looks like. But they're the only real roster in college football without any questions. Dante Moore comes back. He was presumably going to be the second quarterback taken in the NFL draft this past year had he gone. They had an entire returning front 7 on defense. They have the best defensive line in the country. They can run the ball. They can throw it. Anywhere you look. You can point to the rest of the list of teams here. You can point to them and say, well, what are they going to do at this spot? Oregon doesn't have those questions on their roster. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the national title for sure, but when you look at it today, August 12th, they are the only roster you point to and say, man, they're good everywhere. And there are no real question marks that exist within that team. And so for that reason, of course, I have them as one of the teams that can win the national title. I have Ohio State. Shouldn't come as any surprise. This iteration of the Ohio State Buckeyes are always going to be in contention. They're always going to be right there. They have the best player in college football in Jeremiah Smith. Again, a lot of it can be quarterback dependent in college football because defenses are a lot more mistake prone. And if you can have a real legitimate quarterback who can elevate your team, it can do wonders. It's kind of like a real star, a star basketball player in college basketball. Like sometimes defenses aren't as good. These guys aren't going to the league. So if you can have one real elite player, they can elevate your team. I do think Ohio State has that. Their question would be, how are they going to replace all of that on the defense? Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, like those guys who up the middle, and Caleb Downs, who meant so much to what they did defensively. Those are 3 NFL level players that are going to be tough to replace, but there's no question there and there as well. I have Miami as one of the teams I think can win the national title. Darian Mensah, their quarterback, third school in 3 years, but really, really good quarterback. Some with Miami is like the ACC. I don't think is going to be tough. I expect them to win it. But Mario Cristobal, their coach, he also just does a really good job of like coaching the team in fundamentals. And in college, similar to what I just talked about, like how a really good quarterback can elevate you, sometimes when the talent isn't always there through and through, fundamentals can elevate a team. And I think Mario Cristobal does a great job of coaching Miami in that respect, so I have them in there. Georgia, I have them in there. They're the class of the SEC, have been for probably 5-6 years now. I don't think it's any surprise that they're going to be in there. I also have Texas out of the SEC. I think they're probably, outside of Oregon, the best roster as it stands today. Their big question is going to be, like, Arch Manning got a bad rep for how he started last season. He picked it up in the back half and was very good. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. They had there were only, I think, 3 5-stars who transferred this past year. Texas got one of them in Cam Coleman, the wide receiver. Colin Simmons, one of the best defensive players in college football. Probably going to hear his name a lot. Their question would be, can they protect Arch? But from a roster standpoint, like a pure roster standpoint, I think the only team that's better than them is Oregon. So I have them there. I have 2 teams left. The second last, and again, this is no order. I have Indiana
They won it last year. They had I don't know if you remember Lowetide last week when I was talking about the transfer portal index scores, and I talked about Alabama being 0, and Indiana had the best transfer portal index score. I think it was 58.
Nice.
Josh Hoover ran a lot of RPOs at TCU last year. He comes into a program that ran the most RPOs in college football. I don't think he's going to be Fernando Mendoza, but I think he's going to do very well. They have Seth Daly back on the defensive side of the ball. They lost a little bit, obviously, but they still got Charlie Becker. They got, hey, how about this for a football name? You know who their transfer portal running back was?
No.
Guy by the name of Turbo Richard.
Oh my God, great name.
Yeah, played at Boston College last year. Doesn't that just inspire confidence in the running game? And then this is the biggest one that I didn't even touch on. I can't believe I almost forgot about this. The best coach in college football and the best coach team in college football with Kurt Signetti. I don't think they would be my prediction to win, but they're one of the teams that could do it. Then I almost stopped after this set, those 7. I did add an 8th team in there, and I really this is the wild card pick, if you will, but I threw LSU in there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they were also one of only 3 schools to get a 5-star recruit in the transfer portal. Sam Levitt, and they got it by way of Sam Levitt, who's a quarterback, so that's the most important position. Whit Weeks on defense. It's going to be 3 new starting receivers. I think they brought in 41 players in the transfer portal. Like a lot of guys who just want to go there and play for Lane Kiffin. And Lane Kiffin, say what you will about him, but as an offensive coach, phenomenal. And he's finally at a school that is going to have all the resources and all the money at his disposal. It might not be this year. It might be a couple years down the line. Their schedule doesn't really do them any favors. They got to play like Texas, at Ole Miss, which is going to be a real emotional game. Tennessee, Texas A&M, Bama. The schedule is going to be hard, but I think they can get in at 10-2. I don't expect them to go 12-0 in the regular season. And once they're there, I think the team will kind of hit a gelling point where anything can happen. So they were my 8th team that I threw in there.
I just wanted to ask you an LSU question. What year was it when they went incredible and they beat
2019
Clemson
and Joe Burrow won the Heisman and went number 1 overall. I should get Josh's mic on for that one because that's his guy. That was
they didn't lose a game.
No, they didn't. And they not only did they not lose a game, they kind of killed everyone. They're one of the best college teams ever.
I remember that.
No question about it. It's them and the 01 Hurricanes for a couple different reasons. But as far as
the Hurricanes were more famous overall as time
and the NFL talent on that team, like Greg Olson, who was on that team, described that 01 Hurricanes team the best. Like they had Sean Taylor and Antrell Roll running down on kickoff because they couldn't play on the start. You know what I mean? Like that's just how loaded that team was. But and Josh is here, so
there were the backup halfbacks too, right?
Yeah, Willis McGahee got moved to fullback, I believe,
right?
Because he couldn't get reps at running back. But that 2019 LSU team, crazy.
I think they only trailed at half by double digits once, and that was to Clemson in the national championship game. And then after they outscored them like 33-3 or something ridiculous.
By the way, that was when Clemson was Clemson.
They still had Trevor Lawrence on the team. Like that was this guy's going to go number 1 next year after Joe Burrow goes 1 this year. Like this is the best matchup that could possibly exist.
I remember that team. Just the media. It was a build, right? And by the time they got whatever, I don't know what the record was, but they were deep into the year and undefeated, and then they were just lights out.
Yeah, they went 15-0 that year. I will say also quickly about LSU, like that was their only college football playoff appearance since 2014 when the field expanded. And LSU is a school that comes with certain expectations. So that year, amazing, but overall haven't lived up to where they need to be as a school and as a program. And Lane Kiffin's coming to change that.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Josh.
I didn't. I don't really have it. Like, I think it was Mike Greenberg had a great breakdown of the entire 2019 LSU team when they were arguing about the 01 Canes versus the 19 LSU team. And it's like, it's hands down. Like, it shouldn't even be a debate how good this LSU team was. Like, it shells everybody. And I don't have it memorized, so I couldn't tell you. But I do know that is in fact the stat, that they were only trailed by double digits once at half. And then they outscored Clemson 33-3.
I think Joe Burrow had 60 touchdowns that year in 15 games.
Yeah, right? Like, it was just absolutely ludicrous.
Well, it's too bad he couldn't take the team with him.
I mean, he basically did. He got Jamar Chase, and that's the whole deal for my Cincinnati Bengals.
And he got T. Higgins, who was an opponent.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, do you guys have any teams you think could win the Natty this year?
Well, I'm all in on Notre Dame, and I love Oregon always. I keep waiting for you to mention Nebraska.
They're it's a bit of a I know you guys are thinking the same thing. Bit of a make or break year for Matt Rule. It's time to, like, we brought you back to figure it out. It's about time it gets figured out.
Not a big Cornhuskers guy, eh?
I really liked watching Nebraska. They lost their quarterback in the transfer portal to
to
Oregon. Funny enough, who thought he was going to start, but Dante Moore came back. I like watching Nebraska a lot. They play a fun style of game, but they got to figure it out.
Was it Tom Osborne who was the coach there for a long time?
Yeah.
I like because they were typical college, but they did it really well.
Yeah, they did
running the ball. That's all I got.
That's all I got too. Next week, my top 12. I know everyone's excited.
You know what I'd like to see one day, and this is a dream of mine, and I don't need this is just an old man talking, but I miss the late Saturday afternoon, USC versus Washington, UCLA versus whomever, like that West Coast, like football in California and Washington State and Oregon. I feel like it was better like a long time ago than it is now.
You yearn for the Pac-12.
I do.
As we all do.
It hurts that it's just not even in existence anymore. It's the Pac 1.5.
Yeah. Well, here's what I want to know. Which team are you slighting? Are you slighting Washington State or Oregon State?
No, I don't know Oregon State well enough to slight them, so I guess it's Washington State.
That's a burn in and of itself, by the way.
Well, you got to give me something I recognize. Like, I know when Boise State's playing at home, for instance. You got to give me something like that, because unlike Declan, I have other things to do on Saturdays. But listen, I just love your NCAA stuff. It really is a favorite of mine. So thanks for doing all that hard work. I know it's a passion, but it's appreciated. All right, Jason Krueger on the way. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow we'll have bagged milk, and we're going to talk about the new look and more. Have a great day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. For your next move in the Edmonton or area, call or text Sean directly, 780-265-0165. Scores from around the MLB. Twins leading the Orioles 7-4 in the top of the seventh. Cards lead the Phillies 5-1. Rays 3-0 over the A's. Diamondbacks up 1-0 on the Rockies at the end of the first. And the Astros and Giants tied 0-0 in the bottom of one. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll see the Brewers and Padres. And at 5:07, the Red Sox and Blue Jays. Jose Soriano on the bump for that one. WNBA action tonight. The Toronto Tempo will be playing against the Dallas Wings. 6:00 tip for that one. 2 games tipping at 8. The Sky and the Valkyries, as well as the Minnesota Lynx and Chicago Fire. Elsewhere in the sporting world, the Los Angeles Lakers have been sold for a reported $12.5 billion to Josh Kushner and Bob Eager. And I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West